Can you hear? It looks like my little thing there is moving, so I think I'm. I think I'm live. Wait for some people to get in here. I know I'm in early. I just wanted to make sure I actually had some. What is it? Some volume on it this time. I didn't last time I used my computer to go live. Uh, I got one person in here already. Put up on the chat screen. Let me know who you are and if you got any questions. Oh, they jumped out. Doggone it. I'll start in a couple of minutes. Well, in less than a minute now. Dang it. Okay, it's 6:30. So we're going to get started. What I wanted to talk about tonight was two things. We'll start first. What is it? Dang. We'll start first with tools. Um, what I buy, what I like, um, my thoughts on warranty, and Snap on the other tool trucks compared to Amazon and all that. So I'm gonna start with what I buy. I uh I typically buy anything that I feel is going to meet my needs. I try to buy quality, but I will dip my toes into something to what's the word I'm looking for? I'll try to figure out if there's something out there that might be a lower priced alternative that still provides the quality that I need. Now, look, I'm not a heavy equipment um, mechanic that works on it every day, and I'm not a guy in a shop that has to turn out, you know, X amount of vehicles a day. Just so you know, if you're not in the industry, a lot of dealerships have what they call what is it? It's it's time based on a book. So if just say for example a brake job, and that's not the best example. Let's say brake job, and the book says it takes 30 minutes or whatever. Well, a mechanic gets his base rate, let's say it's $25 an hour. He gets his base rate based on that. So if he does that job and it takes him 35 minutes to do that job that's rated at 30 minutes, he only gets paid for 30 minutes. Same thing as if he does it in 15 minutes, he still gets paid for 30 minutes. So he could start another job and make more money. So he could work 40 hours in a week and get paid for 50 hours a week. He could also work 40 hours in a week and only get paid 30 hours a week, according to how slow he was. And there's also jobs that pay less. Warranty work tends to pay less hours than come in off the street type work. I'm not sure how exactly it works. Dad did it for a little while. He seemed to be pretty successful, but he had come from the heavy equipment world when he went to doing that. So, and I'll try to stop moving my hands around so much. But anyway, So that's one. As far as I know, most places I know of in the equipment world, it's just straight hours. You get paid, you clock in, you get paid until you clock out. Um, the service drivers that drive the trucks, theirs is a little bit different. Sometimes they get paid from when they clock in at the shop. Sometimes they get paid according if they're on call from the time they start up their truck. It's just according. But that's why I say tools that fit my need. Because I'm not on a time clock for the most part. So the tools that I get are for my convenience, my use, and to make things easier for me. A person that works on heavy equipment or a person that works in a shop at a dealership or whatever, they're going to buy tools, speed, convenience, and stuff like that. They can't afford downtime. They can't afford to be without certain tools because some tools make them their money. So that's a few differences there. And maybe I'll do a video on this later. Um, so what I do is a little bit of everything. I mainly work on my own stuff. There's a few people around that I help them out. I changed out some, I redid a front end, changed out some U joints and stuff on a 4-wheel drive here uh, sometime around October, November, something like that, maybe a little sooner. Uh, I've been working on my own uh, car, my Mustang here. Uh, I help my boss out every now and then. I go to over and help him with his tractors and stuff. We pulled injectors, sent them off to have them cleaned, help with electrical stuff like that. So I'm not a professional. Um, Credit to those people that do it every day. I did it for quite a while as a shade tree guy. I mean, seriously, I was working 12 hours a day at a plant, uh, building utility beds, and I come home and did it every single day. And there was times I was putting in 20 hours a day, and I was young, and it was still pretty rough. And but I was doing engine swaps and brake jobs and anything else I could do out behind my house on the ground with all my tools in a little bit shed. Had some plywood on the ground. I think I was 23, 24, something like that. Made a little money off of it. Lost a little money off of it. Had some of my tools stolen. It is what it is. Uh, I don't know if any of you older mechanics know, but I think it was Allied. They used to do some equipment and stuff, and they had this ugly orange stuff, and I had a one of those ugly orange Allied um, shop hoist cherry pickers, and someone decided they wanted it more than me and pulled up to the house and loaded it up because all my big tools was outside. But anyway, now get on back on track about tools. So I shop Amazon and I look for deals, but I also use a local tool store. And they're called Tool Time. And I go there about once a month, and I'm going to start doing a series where I go in and show you a new tool that they have. When I know I want something on the Snap-on truck, I give him a text and say, "Hey, where are you going to be tomorrow so I can meet you?" And I meet him wherever and go on the truck and buy it. His name's David Barr, and he runs out of the Brandenburg area. Also have a Mac tool guy that I can do the same with, and he'll actually come to the house. Um, so they're good tools. I can swap them out, and it's really according. If it's something that Snap-on is just the best at and hands down, you know, it's best to use them. That's who I use. Hey Nate, how you doing, man? Uh, I just saw your text. My camera's right here. My screen is over here. Maybe I need to move it over here. Let me move this. That way, I'm looking at what I'm reading. uh, what kind of hookups you looking for, Nate? Um, but I'm doing good, man. I hope you're doing well. And whoever the other viewer is, go ahead and jump on the chat and let me know who you are, and so I can say hey. But anyway, I'll continue while I'm waiting on chats to pop up. Tools. So bottom line, I buy what I think I need, and I try to buy quality. And there's a few quality brands that I deal with, but that brings you into warranty. There's a few places you can go today to get great warranty, and that's if you buy from the tool trucks, they're pretty easy about warranting stuff for you. If you don't buy from the tool trucks and you, hey, there's a brand named Trusty Cook Hammers that's real good, Nate. But if you don't buy off the tool truck, but you try to bring something crusty and swap it out, and he's never seen you before, he might not like it. He may or may not swap it. He or she may or may not swap it out for you. And it's a business for them. And they know that people go and buy junk and try to come on their truck and swap it out. And on Snap-on's website, particularly, it does say it's only warranted to the original user. That being said, my guy, I've bought stuff from him, and even stuff that I haven't bought from him, he hasn't asked me any questions. He just swapped it out. I've also had stuff swapped out through Snap-on corporate. Called them up. I need this. They sent it to me. So it's just according. Tekton, Tekton. They used to be a different tool brand. They used to be named something else, and it was considerably cheaper tools. But now they are, I think they rival Gear Ranch, and they're getting up there on their quality, their service, and everything. So you go on their website, you take a picture of the tool, you send it in, and boom, they send you one back out. Vim tool is kind of the same way. If you buy directly from them, but if you buy from someone else, they want you to swap it out with them. If not, they charge you a handling fee. It's just kind of weird. That's sort of how warranty works. Now, I buy some stuff from, what is it? Knipex, Knipex, whatever you, Knipex. I love their pliers. They're awesome. I've never broke any. But because I don't necessarily have a dealer that does them, if it ever does happen where I break them, I am concerned that I won't get good warranty service. I'm not sure. I have purchased these from Amazon, which is probably the hardest way for me to get it warranted. But I've also purchased them from another company online that I can't think of their name right now. Dang it. Let me see. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'll put it in a link later. You can come back and look. I've did a review on them before, but they're a pretty good company. I think they're out of Kansas City, whatever. So I think they would warranty anything I've purchased from them. I don't know if they would help me warranty anything that I haven't purchased from them. But that's where you're at with warranty. And then you got the Stanley Black & Decker consortium or whatever you want to. And I have got a Black Hawk socket I need to try to swap out. That once I do that, I'll know how to work with them. But they own Proto and Black Hawk and Stanley and Mac and dang, what else? DeWalt. So they own a lot of brands, a lot of tool brands. So we'll see on that. That's my deal on tools, what I like to buy, how I like to buy it, and warranty issues. And that's sort of in going with that. Oh, one other, Harbor Freight. If their tools have a lifetime warranty, take it back, swap it out with a new one. But, and this may be changing, sometimes they want you to bring, if you bought a set and that tool that you broke is in that set, sometimes they want you to bring the whole set back. I don't know exactly, but that's what I've heard from people. I've never swapped out a Harbor Freight tool, but I'm really choosy about what I buy, if that makes sense. And I take care of my tools. I used to break stuff when I was younger, but I hardly break things now because I go get something bigger or better or something that's more suited for what I'm doing. So I understand everybody doesn't have that option. So that's it. That's all it on the tool stuff. Next, what I want to talk a little bit about, unless anyone's got anything they want to hear about, is shop building. And I'm going to cover a few different things. I'm going to talk on this for about 5 more minutes, and then I'll open it up for questions. So we're going to give an intro on shop building. So if you got a pen and pad, take notes if you want. So today we'll talk about what you need to do to figure out how big your shop needs to be. So what I did is, one, I looked at my land. Where can I build it? After I figured out what I could build according to how my land was, how big my land was, how it laid out, hills and stuff like that, where my septic tank was, what the local and county would allow me to do, then I could start figuring out where I could put it and how big I could make it. So separately, I figured out how big I wanted it. I drew it out on paper. I sketched it out on a piece of graph paper, and I sketched everything out to scale. I measured my workbenches. I took every big piece of equipment I had, toolboxes, everything, and I put it on that sketch. And I figured out what I wanted. So what I wanted a minimum of 10 foot from my toolboxes to the front of a vehicle. And then I wanted the vehicle to have at least 4 foot to the back, to whatever the next wall was. Then I wanted the vehicles to have, or the garage doors to be, I knew I wanted them to be 12 foot wide and then 4 foot between each one of them. So that gave me plenty of space all the way around any vehicle that I wanted to work on. And I did those measurements off of my F-350, which is the longest vehicle I've got. So when I did that, I come up with 32 foot, I think it was, or 35, 34, something like that. Then I decided just add to it and do a 4 or 8 foot measurement. In other words, 36 is dividable by 4. So I went with 36 foot instead on my depth. And then my width. When I did my width, like I said, I'd laid everything out where it was supposed to be, and I figured out what else I wanted, and I come up with 56. Or now I come up with something a little shorter, and I added it again to get that multiplier 4. So that's how I did mine. Another thing I should have did a little better on was where I was putting it had a drop off. And I knew it was going to take a lot of material to fill that in, but I didn't really realize how much other trouble it would cost me. So that's things we need to take in consideration. So when you're figuring out what kind of building you need to build and what you need, those are some things to think about. Now let's talk about height. Are you going to put a lift in there? Well, with a lift, I think the minimum you can go is 9 foot, but you really need 12 foot if you're putting a lift in. At a minimum, 12 foot. Now, if you're doing anything tall, let's say you want to take a travel trailer and back it in and working on it. Let's say you got one. You need to take that in consideration. So what I did is I'm like, okay, I could put in a 14-foot door and I could get bigger trucks in there and work on them. I also thought about lofts. And if I made it 16 foot to the ceiling, I could put in lofts and still have plenty of headroom below it and plenty of headroom above it. So that's how I come up with a 16-foot ceiling. But you got to understand, once you have a 16-foot ceiling, if you plan on finishing the inside yourself, you're going to be in trouble if you don't have ladders and lifts and scaffolds or something that to do stuff up high like that. 12 foot's a whole lot easier to work with than 16 foot. I guarantee you, especially if you do your own work inside. So that's some things to consider. That's all I'm going to say on that. I'm going to go ahead and close this off. I see I've lost my my viewers, but maybe y'all come back later and check this out. Y'all take care. Have a great week. Keep tuning in. I've got plenty of stuff coming up. I'm trying to do a long form video every other day, and I'm trying to give you 2 shorts every day. And hope you like them and hope you keep tuning in. Take care.